Hey y'all, and welcome back to my channel, Life Play Digital. Well, with all that's been going on lately, virus-wise, and the closing and reopening of businesses, many local areas and businesses are requiring, or making it mandatory even, that face masks or coverings be worn in public. And since anyone can be an asymptomatic carrier, there's no harm in wearing a mask, just as long as it's not a medical mask, which should be reserved for the healthcare professionals. So in this video, I'll be demonstrating how you can easily make a protective face mask using the ancient art of origami and a HEPA vacuum bag. There's no sewing or complex steps, and most of all, you will have all of the items, or most all of them at least, at home. So this was originally created by Jiangmeng Wu, and I think I said that right, an assistant professor of design in the Ashkenazi, I think I said that one right to you, School of Art, Architecture, and Design. Now, about using a HEPA vacuum bag, which has become a popular and effective choice of filter material for homemade face masks. And in fact, in a study done by Cambridge University, it showed that a HEPA vacuum bag was just as effective as a medical mask. However, there is some debate over if these contain fiberglass or not, and most do not. This has been verified by many of the manufacturers and other industry professionals, but you should always still just double check that the HEPA vacuum bags that you'll be using are made of polypropylene, and not with fiberglass. So, okay, here's what you're gonna need. The pattern for the face mask, which there's a link to in the video's description, a polypropylene HEPA vacuum bag, a pen, scissors, staples or a hot glue gun and hot glue, rubber bands or elastic, a hole punch, and wire for the nose bridge with twist ties, pipe cleaners, or a large gauge wire all work very well. Okay, so again, the first thing that you want to make sure is that the vacuum bags are HEPA Filter vacuum bags. The brands that I'm using here, you don't have to stick with these, but they're with the ones I'm familiar with are Kirby and SoniClean. And the first thing you're going to do is you're going to want to cut off the part that would usually connect to the vacuum.
Talk to me, baby, I've been waiting for a lifetime. Just keep on fading in all these photos, caught in the memories and captured in the highlights.
And if they have any other kind of, like this has like a sticky something in it, I just take that out. You're also going to want to cut open so that it's open all the way. Cut the top little seals off, but I leave the sides on for now, and I'll show you why.
Just keep on wasting glass after glass. I keep hoping you'll come around, drowning up.
You're going to want to open it up. Alright, so the pattern that I have, it requires that the material be folded over in half, and this bottom part here put on the fold. So what I've found I like to do is actually use this seam right here, or this one, and I start with it just above it here, and it helps give a little structure to the mask. So once you have it lined up where you want it, you're just going to draw or trace out the shape. The little dots here are where you're going to punch holes, so you can either make a line out here just to remind you, or punch through it. And then what I do is I also make lines here, because you're going to have to draw out these dashed lines in this line too. And then I draw them just a little bit more on the inside, because when you cut it out, you won't be able to see those. Okay, now you're going to want to cut out the mask.
Demons they leave, you know, might be easier just to
you can, if you don't want to use the seam like I did, you can just open the whole thing up and then fold it over once down the middle. Okay, so next we're going to open it up, and then you're going to want to draw the lines that were there. And then so you know where they are on the other side, if you close it up and just look, kind of make a mark. Caught in the memories and captured in the highlights. Just keep on wasting. Might be easy. Okay, then once you have all the lines drawn, you're going to start folding it. But first I'm going to show you how to fold it with just a regular piece of paper that I already cut out, because I think it's a little easier to see first with this. So the solid lines and the dashed lines represent mountain and valley folds. So basically one goes up, the other goes down, and vice versa. So you're going to we're going to do the solid lines as mountain folds, and they fold up. Just to let it go, cut the cable short, and the problem solved might be easier. And just so you know, this is like the nose bridge, this little piece that is right here. Okay, now these are going to be valley folds, so they're going to be the opposite way. We got time, but no money. But there ain't nobody stopping us. We got bills, but no dollars. But now we don't really give up. No, we don't really give up. Living for that ray of light. Life can be beautiful. So then once you have the folds all done, you're just going to take the sides here and just put together. It's almost like they just fold one right over the other here. And then you're going to take your stapler or hot glue gun if you prefer to use that, and you're just going to put a couple staples or dabs of hot glue, either one, in it, and you're going to do the other side the same way. We'll just use hot glue for this one. And then this piece is the nose bridge piece, and I usually put the wire under it. You don't necessarily need a wire, it just helps with keeping it nice and snug around the bridge of the nose. After that, you're going to want to punch holes in those little spots where the dots are. Okay, so let's do the one with the HEPA filter bag now. Okay, so now we're going to do the same fold but with the HEPA filter. So I like to personally have the outside of the vacuum bag on the inside of the mask, just because I feel like the inside of the bag is made more for keeping all that stuff in and the stuff that we're trying to keep out when we're wearing the mask, if that makes sense. Okay, so again, mountain valley folds. And I find with the vacuum bags, it's a little easier to staple or glue as you go over each fold, because it doesn't want to stay creased like the paper does. Life can be beautiful, going all the way tonight, making it beautiful, acting like there's no tomorrow, acting like there's no tomorrow. And I like to staple, if you're using staples, to have the bottom side facing out so it doesn't possibly scratch or anything in the face. I'm running out of time, every day goes by so fast, and every moment counts, baby, I don't wanna miss a thing. Sleep under the stars, we can sleep under the stars, or hang out in hotel bars. And then you want to take the nose piece and fold it inward and staple it. Okay, now you're going to need to punch the holes for the rubber bands. Sometimes I like to get just a little bit farther over than it's marked for them, but it's up to you. Okay, now depending on the size rubber bands that you'll be using, will kind of depend on how many that you'll need. So if you're using some bigger ones like these, then you might just need to put one or loop one through each of the holes just punched and loop each one around the ear to hold it on. If you're using some shorter ones, you might need to put two here and then a longer one or shorter one tying them together. So it just depends. But we're gonna use the longer ones. So you're gonna loop each one through each of the holes that you just punched.
Somewhere in your car, we can sleep under the stars. We can sleep under the stars, under the stars. Baby, while we're young.
Okay, and then the last thing, make sure those are tight, is for the nose bridge piece. So you want to put in some wire or twist ties work great, and you can just slide that in after you've stapled it, and can measure it or cut it shorter if you want. It's up to you.
We can sleep under the stars or hang out in hotel bars. We can sleep.
Okay, and then you're just gonna loop those two around the ear, and you have a finished mask. And now if you want to have a cloth cover on the mask, you can do two different things. You can either cut out the same pattern from a piece of material like t-shirt material or something maybe that doesn't fray, and then that would be one side. Fold it up together, staple it down to the piece, and then fold it up if you want. And then you would continue just to fold like you did before from there with the piece of material over it. Or what you can do is, before putting any actual holes or the rubber bands on the face mask, you can take a bandana or a handkerchief and fold it in half, and then again in half long ways, and take your mask, your HEPA filter mask, place it in the center, and then take two rubber bands or hair ties work too if you have them, and if they're big enough, and put one down on each side. Here. And then fold in each end here. And then these, once you put it on, the rubber bands, you'll put around your ears here. So, and you can fold it a little bigger so it fully covers if you want to. That's up to you. That makes my big ears stick out even more. Alright, so along with a good filtering material that's breathable, the CDC and other professionals say that the fit of the mask is most important, that it creates a seal over the mouth and nose. So which this one checks off on both of those, good filter and seal. So you can also cover these with like a t-shirt material or bandana if you want, on the outside and inside too. It's up to you. This one I used actually put little Velcro on if you wanted to do something like that. just haven't put the rubber bands on it yet. Okay, so if you've tried any of these or a similar DIY face mask, let me know in the comments. I would love to hear from you. And I would be so grateful if you would be so awesome to like the video and subscribe to my channel by clicking the subscription button below, or the button that will pop up in one of these corners any minute now. And also select the little bell button to receive notifications when I post new videos. Okay, well, thank you so much everyone for being here with me while I shared this video tutorial, and I hope you all stay safe and healthy, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!
Glass after glass, I keep hoping you'll come around, drowning our fights in what